What's up, everybody? Mr. Dr. Robotoman here, and this is part 2 of what we were attempting to do before with the boss fight tutorial. So, let's see if we can get back to where we left off. I know it's been a little bit. See how much it even remembers. See how much I even remember. Okay, I know I do recall that I was having some trouble with this part here, the debugger, but looks like it's there now. Boss AI handler, boss it. Might have too many going on now. Bosses, because I got 1, 2, 3, but I don't know if that will matter or not, because it doesn't have the same thing here that I see in the documentation picture. There's this AI stuff, but it might just be because I haven't done it yet. So create boss idle state. This is the default state of the boss. When the boss does not have a target in range to shoot at, then the boss will fall back to this state. In this state, the boss will rotate back to the starting position. You need to create an idle activity and register that activity to the boss AI handler. Create activities table. This table will be used to store the activities for the states that will be added to the AI handler later on. So I'm pretty sure I already did this, and it should be in the, well, yeah, now it shows I have 3 of them. So I don't think I need 3 of them. AI server. Unless I did get to that part where I did need 3 of them. Well, it's all the same script, so let's just focus on the one for now and see what it does. We got boss geo, shoot parameter. Yeah, I might have been farther than this. Okay, I have the idle state there. Local activities idle. And that's what it wanted here. And create tick function, so let's see. Yeah. Idle tick, activity, delta time. Just make sure that's the same. Activities idle, delta time, prior activity, and create idle start function. Okay, test the game. The boss will not do anything because it does not know who to target, so it will be in the idle state constantly because it is the highest priority activity. In the AI debugger, click on the boss AI handler to see the idle state listed. Now that's the part that I don't see, is this. So boss AI handler, AI activity enabled. So see in here, select from hierarchy. I don't see any of those tick boxes here And I'm not sure if it was because of the way that I created it. AI activity handlers. AI debugger. It almost looks the same in preview mode. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Turn the volume down on that a bit. Okay, so that's why I wasn't seeing it. So, you know what? For testing and streaming purposes, we are going to kill the music. If I can find the music. There's the music. Audio. So for now, we'll just take all that and we're going to turn. Oh, they don't have the same pitch volume. I'm just going to turn the volume down to 0 for now. Oh no. What'd it do? Okay, so I got an error. But I don't think I need all of these, because I think there's too many of them. So it's just this one. But it might be okay, because I think I did see that it was going to have multiple handlers anyway. So maybe it did want me to create those. Okay, so that's fine. I don't think the error was from something else. Event log. Attempt to index and no value. Boss Geo. Get custom property Boss Geo. That's usually because naming is wrong. So that's on here. Boss Geo script get custom property Boss Geo wait for object. No. Hmm. Oh. Duh. That's why. because it's not in these ones. Okay. Okay, so now we should be back on track since the AI debugger is working in-game. So that's showing that handler, but it's not showing. I think I have to come in here and it should show the state. I deleted all 3 of them, didn't I? But that one should be fine. That's the one that has everything. Control save. And then play. Okay, now it's working. Okay, so now the priority idle is working. Alright, now we should be on track. Okay. Took a minute to get there. Okay, the state will become, okay, create boss shoot state. This state will become the highest priority when the boss has a valid target in range. You'll be creating a shoot activity and adding that activity to the handler. I should have changed the name of the stream. Forgot because I was streaming earlier on mobile. Oh well, I'll change it when I post it. Create shoot table. Add a new property called shoot table to the activities table. Okay, so we have local activities idle. And so we just need one now. That is shoot equals table. So right here under local activities, we're going to call this one shoot equals a new table. I think we need a comma there. Double check, but I'm pretty sure. What? Yeah. Okay. Add shoot variables. Local shoot cooldown. Okay, so we got a few variables here. Local shoot cooldown minimum is 0. Local shoot cooldown maximum is 3. Local shoot elapsed will be 0. Local has shot equals false. Local random cooldown equals 0. Local is charging equals false. So obviously easiest thing, copy paste. I think that's why they have this here. Copy to clipboard. Let's test it. Copy to clipboard. And we're going to put this up here with our variables. Okay, so now we got all these variables. Okay, the variables above will be used when the shoot activity is the highest priority. Shoot cooldown minimum. The minimum amount of time the cooldown can be for the boss to shoot again. Cooldown max. The maximum amount of time for the cooldown can be for the boss to shoot again. shoot elapsed. The amount of time elapsed since the last shooting. This is used to work out if the boss can shoot again. Has shot. When the boss shoots, this is updated to true. When it is false, then the boss can shoot again. Random cooldown. This is the random cooldown time that gets changed on each shot. Is charging. Each shot from the boss requires a charge before it can shoot the projectile. So those are the explanations for the variables. Create get random target function. The boss will select a random target that is in the parameter. It is possible for the same target to be selected again, so that same target could get shot at more than once. Okay, so local function, this is going to be local function get random target. Return shoot targets math.random. And I forget what the hashtag symbol means. Shoots targets. Okay, so we're going to copy that. Go to our script. These are our, so I've been putting these newer functions at the bottom because we have the on player shoot. So I'm not always sure where to put new functions. So I'm just going to put it at the end here. Okay. The get random target function will return a random entry from the shoot targets array. Create shoot projectile function. Local function is shoot projectile. Copy that one. Put it at the bottom. I usually like to put a space so it's easy to read. So local function shoot projectile. The code for the shoot projectile function will be written later. This function will handle shooting a projectile at the current target. Create shoot tick function. So function activities.shoot tick. So this is running the activities in delta time, so frames per second. If shoot targets is greater than 0, then activity.priority equals 200, else activity.priority equals 0. Okay, we'll copy that. And put it down here. Okay. The tick function will run every frame. The tick function will check the shoot targets array to see if there are any targets in the parameter for the boss to shoot at. If there are targets, then the priority for the shoot activity gets set to 200. The shoot activity will become the highest priority for the handler. If there are no targets, then the priority is lowered and idle activity will become highest priority. So if you understood that. Sort of understand it. So if shoot targets is greater than 0, then it'll be the highest priority is 200, else if it will be back to 0. So create shoot priority function. Getting deep in the code. You need to create the tick highest priority function so that when the shoot activity becomes the highest priority, the boss will shoot at the target. Okay, function activities.shoot.tick highest priority. activity delta time. If object is valid target, then if not has been shot, then shoot projectile. Else if is charging, then if random cooldown is equal to 0, then random cooldown equals math.random, shoot cooldown minimum, shoot cooldown max. So it's checking randomly between cooldown minimum and cooldown max. Shoot elapsed equals shoot elapsed plus delta time. So it's checking some of these variables that were made up here. The numbers in these variables: shoot elapsed, has shot, shoot cooldown minimum max. If shoot elapsed is greater or equal to random cooldown and has shot, then target equals get random target. I think that's looping again. If object is valid target, then boss geo look at continuous target false. And 2 in shoot elapsed, random cooldown, has shot false. So then it's just resetting back to 0. Okay, so we'll copy that. Throw that in our script down at the bottom again. Oops. I don't want to do it too high. So that was that. So if the boss has not shot a projectile, then the shoot projectile function will be called. Otherwise, the tick highest priority function will check if the boss is not charging up the next shot. So here it's explaining what it wrote up here. So if random cooldown is equal to 0, then random cooldown equals math random shoot cooldown minimum shoot cooldown max. The above code will only set a random cooldown if random cooldown is 0. This is to provide some randomness to make it harder for players to predict the shooting pattern of the boss. Okay. Shoot elapsed equals shoot elapsed plus delta time. If shoot elapsed is greater than or equal to random cooldown and has shot, then here you check if the elapsed time since the boss last shot is greater than or equal to the random cooldown value. You also need to check that has shot is true, indicating that the boss has already shot a projectile. This means the boss will only look for a new target if it already shot at an existing target and has cooled down. If object is valid target, then boss geo look at continuous target false 2. If there is a valid target, then the boss geo is set to look at the target continuously, so it's following you around. Okay, create shoot start function. When the shoot activity becomes the highest priority, the start function is called. The start function will be called every time the shoot activity becomes the highest priority. So, activities.shoot start. Delta time local temperature target equals get random target, or probably temporary target, temporary target. Get random target, boss geo, look at continuous, temporary target, false 0.5, task wait 1 tick, target equals temporary target nil. The code above will get a random target and store it in the variable temporary target. This is so that the boss geo has time to switch to the new target before shooting. Okay, so it's like a placeholder. That's pretty deep coding that I don't fully understand, but I'm trusting them to make it work. Okay. The boss AI server script. test the game. Yay, test the game and make sure the following work. Boss tracks the player entering the perimeter. When the player is killed, the boss will move back to the idle position. Okay, so it tracks him, and then it should be... Okay, is he killing himself, or... Oh yeah, because create boss projectile. Because boss can't shoot yet. Okay, so... Boss is stuck in the floor, though. Why is boss stuck in the floor? Boss is not following us. We did something wrong. Probably because boss is stuck in the floor. But I don't remember them showing us moving it at all. But yeah, they have theirs up there. But in the steps, way up at the top, we're going way up at the top. When we first created this dude, pretty sure it just had us set him to 0, 0. Well, let's see. Let's move Mr. Boss out of the floor. Put him kind of more into the middle of the room. Wait, what is, oh, that's just the player camera. It's weird that it's there. See if that has any effect at all. Nope. Okay. Oh, did I save my script? Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. No, I did not. Always remember that. That'll mess you up every time. Control save your script. It probably would have worked with him where he was, but let's just see with him right now. No, still no, still no. Come on. Ay, ay, ay. Let's see. Let's put him back there just in case. Make sure the script. That shouldn't have mattered, but. Okay, control save. The script is saved. Play. Nope, he's still down here. Shoot, idle. Are they flipped? Because I think the idle is supposed to be... Okay, let me pick this guy at least up out of the floor. Move him back, because, yeah, pretty sure I want him like that. But I think there's something in the script, because the idle priority Okay, if shoot targets is because the idle is supposed to be 0. Activity. Okay. Activities dot idle tick activity delta time priority 100. Task dot wait rotation. New. Shoot projectile. Activity shoot tick if greater than 0. If hashtag shoots activity dot priority 0. Activity dot priority equals 100. Did it ever tell us to change that? That was up here when we made the activities. Now it says the activity tick function runs every frame. Activity is not the highest priority. In this case, for the idle activity, you want it to be the highest priority when the game starts, so the boss starts out in the idle state. Okay. Well, I copied all of these. Get random target. So if shoot is greater than 0. Okay, if shoot is greater than 0, then if tag shoot targets. Boss tracks the player entering the perimeter. Okay, let's see. Idle is 100, and then that switches to 200. And that does not switch to 200.
Yeah.
So something is not. Something is not running correctly. Yeah. Oh, it's just the other one in the background. Which seems like it is the shoot parameter. Interactable. Oops, stop. Shoot parameter. Shape block. No, we don't want it interactable. But we do want game collision forced on. Shows if player and other objects collide with this object. Okay, so yes. So for some reason it's not changing the priority. Stack frames. Activities shoot delta time. If object is valid target, these activities is dark though. Function activities dot shoot tick highest priority activity delta time. If object is valid target, then if not has shot is charging. Shoot get random target. It's not doing any of that yet though. Activities activity delta. Okay, well, I'm not exactly sure what went wrong. Unless it's not calling it. Okay, we have that was the last script we put in there. On player enter shoot on. Okay, we have that. Make sure I didn't change the name of the trigger. Shoot perimeter. It's just down there. Activity, look continuous, boss geo, look at continuous temporary target, delta time, temporary, but that's a temporary target. Activity. Add activity handler. Quick fix. Undefined field, add activity. Let's make sure this one's right, because it doesn't seem to like it. Yeah, activity handler, add activity. I did copy that one too, right? Add activity. Still doesn't like that. K activities, K. No. For K and A and I pairs, in pairs activities do. K and A in pairs activities do. Activity handler. Dot add activity. They wouldn't mess that up, would they? It doesn't like it that way either. Local activity handler, core object, activity, dot dot unknown, add activity. Field. No way, it really doesn't like that.
Mabel, leave her alone. Mabel. She don't want it in there.
Function activities auto tick.
Why do you think it takes that bad?
Activity priority is 100. So it seems like it's like this. If tag shoot targets, which I'm not even sure where is that function. Return shoot targets. Is that activity handler, script parent. Player is valid.
Ruth's upstairs. There's JD in there.
Well, that's the only thing that looks messed up to me is this little squiggly under there. And I'm not getting any errors running, so that makes it hard to figure out what the deal is. And I know it's interacting with the trigger because it's calling on player entered shoot. On player enter shoot trigger player is a player table dot insert shoot targets. Actually, I'm not seeing it say print, but player shoot trigger. And again, let's see. Okay. Let's make sure it's checking that trigger. Because maybe it's because it's called trigger and it should be called shoot parameter. So we'll say print player enter, and then on left wait, let's just check that for now because that should tell us at least if the trigger's working. Yeah, player enter. Well, that doesn't debug that. So we know the trigger's being called. What's not happening is the setting of the priority. For KNA and pairs activities, data activities K, local function get random target. If shoot target is greater than 0, if shoot targets, which is, I thought it was idle state, not shoot targets. Because we have AI debugger is idle and then shoot. Idle is running, but it never checks shoot and switches it to 200 like it does on the video scene. So something funky's going on there. Because on this, it switches it. As soon as he enters, idle is 100, and then he hits that, and it switches that to 200, which makes it the highest priority. Well, that's great. I copied their script. I didn't write it myself, so I have no idea. um, Where's this? Shoot targets. Return shoot targets, math random. Hashtag shoot targets. Get random target. Return shoot targets. Activity, shoot, tick highest priority. Charging. Shoot. Function activity, shoot, start. I feel like these should be calling the shoot perimeter. Code above will get a random target and store it in a variable. Boss tracks the player. Handler, did that. Get random target. Okay, so we did local function, get random target. Shoot projectile. Create shoot tick function. Which that seems like that's missing some stuff too. It doesn't like delta time. Like this one likes activity delta, but this one doesn't. Need to tick highest priority function. Cooldown equals 0. Okay, so then this was all that, and this just explains it. Create start function. Activity shoot start. Okay, so it should all be looking like this then, huh? Okay, activity handler, boss geo scripts. Loop. Ah. I wonder if this needs to be at the bottom. Loop through the activity handler. Where's that? 4K. Yeah, that's the one that looks funky. So let's cut that. Paste it here. I might just have to copy that whole script and yep, that did it. Weird. It didn't say to put that there, but there you go. So, because that's looping everything. So now he's following. Okay, dude, you can die anytime now. Now go back. Okay. Wow. So sorry that took an hour to figure out where the script was supposed to go, but that's why programming's hard. Okay. Alright, I guess I'll do one more thing. If I post that on YouTube, I'm gonna try to cut that whole. What's going on here? Okay. Well, now we're working. Yay! Create boss projectile. I don't know, how much longer is this? I don't know if I got time to go for another hour. Test the game. Cut it into 3 parts. Okay. The boss will be shooting a projectile at the current target. Players who get hit by the projectile will take damage. Create boss projectile code. For the boss to shoot a projectile, it needs a reference to the projectile template and where to shoot the projectile from. Add shoot position custom property. Inside the boss geo group, look for shoot from object. And drop that into the boss AI server script custom. Call this custom property shoot position. This will be used projectile code to determine where the projectile will be spawned at. So shoot from shoot position. Oops. So in our settings, client, boss fight map. Let's see. Inside the boss geo group. Shoot from. So we want that as a new custom property, and we want to call it shoot position. Okay, we're going to put that in our script, but let's just follow along. Okay, in project content, under my templates, find the template called Boss Projectile and drop it onto the Boss AI Server script as a custom property. Call this custom property Projectile. This is the template that will be spawned when the boss shoots at a target. So Boss Projectile we want. And I keep clicking on the same thing. Just type it in here, BOSS. Boss Projectile. Custom property. Just call it Projectile. Projectile. Make sure I spelled it wrong. Or right. Because I probably spelled it wrong. Projectile. Projectile. Okay. Should be good. Okay. Add the two properties. Local projectile and local shoot position. We will copy them from here. Copy. And we'll put them at the top with our other variables. So, yeah, you see in theirs, they had all these broken up. So we're going to put these ones right here, since they are custom properties. And we'll have a space at least between these ones. So these are all our custom properties. Try to keep our custom property variables together, and then our scripted variables separate. Okay, update the shoot projectile function. In an earlier section, you added the shoot projectile function, which is an empty function. Add the code below in replace of the shoot projectile function. So we just want to put all this under it. So if is charging, then return is charging equals true. So now it's going to, if it's already charging, it's just going to, I don't know, do something. Local start positions equals shoot position, get world position, events.broadcast to all players. Play charge up effect, task.wait 5 seconds, 0.5 seconds. If not object is valid, boss geo then return. Local direction equals boss geo get world rotation, vector 3 forward, local then projectile. So this is the variables for the projectile. The projectile.spawn, projectile start position and direction. The projectile speed equals 7,000. Projectile should die on impact equals false. Projectile.lifespan equals 3.5 seconds. The projectile.gravity scale equals 0.1. Discharging equals false. Has shot equals true. Okay, so we just want all of this. Copy. And we want that in the function that was called shoot projectile. Where did that one go? Function shoot projectile right there. So we'll drop it and paste it. Make sure it's got the appropriate spacing. So that should be good. And I guess for now, since it looks good, we'll control save it. Okay, the shoot projectile function will make sure there is a valid target to shoot at. If there is, spawn the projectile. So events.broadcast to all players. The Boss Geo template you added to your hierarchy comes with an effects script called Effects Client that will play a charge up effect for all players to see. This is added to help players have time to react to the projectile being shot at them. Local direction, Boss Geo world rotation. The projectile needs to know the direction to head towards because the boss rotates when tracking a target. Then the direction also changes. You can get the forward direction of an object using vector 3.forward and multiplying the forward direction with the boss georotation will give us the direction the boss is facing. Local, the projectile, spawn projectile, start position direction. A projectile is spawned at the start position and will shoot in the direction the boss is facing. The projectile should die on impact false. Because of the type of projectile effect being used, you do not want the projectile to die on impact because the trail effect from the projectile would be instantly removed. So then it wouldn't look cool. Okay, create boss projectile impact code. The projectile does not do any damage to the player or the floor tiles. You need to add impact code to handle what happens to those impacted objects. Create get damageable function. You only want to apply damage to object that can receive damage. A player and the floor tile implement the damageable objects interface. This means that the player and floor tile have health and can die. Create the function above the shoot projectile function. So we want to copy this one and put it above the shoot projectile function. Wish it would have told us about that K to be at the bottom of the script. That would have been helpful. So we want it at the top of this one. So go to the end of this one, make a space, and then paste that function there. Get damageable object. Go ahead and save. Just because I want to make sure I'm saving. The get damageable function will attempt to find an object that is damageable. Create on impact function. You need to know which objects are being impacted by the projectile shot by the boss. Knowing which objects were impacted allows you to determine if they should receive damage and how much damage they should receive. Create the function below the shoot projectile function. So this local function on impact, projectile object hit, if object is valid object, then core debug dot draw sphere hit. Okay, this is a debugger that is actually going to draw a sphere. Impact position. Local results world find objects overlapping sphere. Hit get impact position and 500. Ignore objects. Boss Geo because you don't want it to shoot itself. For index object in pairs results do if object is valid object and local damage equals damage.new. Damage.reason equals damagereason.npc. If object is a player, then events.broadcast to player object shake screen 0.8 4.6. So if it hits you, it's going to shake the camera or the screen, shake screen. Damage.amount equals 400. Object apply damage. Local damageable, get damageable object. If object is valid damageable, then damage amount equals 25. This is something you can change. Yeah, damage.amount. If the player, okay, damage, these both are changeable upon, making your game more customizable. Okay, so We want to copy that and put it below the shoot projectile function. So the end of that was local shoot projectile is actually, the end of it is right there. Couple spaces, paste it there. Why all of this is darkened out, I'm not sure. We'll see if it works. If not, I'm going to bed. Okay, the on-impact function will be set up as an event handler that will fire every time the projectile impacts an object. Core debug draw sphere. The above line can be uncommented to see the impact position and size when the projectile has impacted an object. This is useful if you need to debug the projectile to see where it is impacting on the map. The size of draw sphere needs to be the same as find objects overlapping sphere. Local results, world find objects overlapping. You need to check the objects that the projectile impacts. You want the projectile impact radius to be quite large, so on impact you grab all the objects that are overlapping a sphere based on the impact position of the projectile. You can pass in objects to be ignored so the overlapping sphere cast does not return the boss geo. But you want it to hit the player as well as these tiles. If object is a player, then broadcast a string. You need to check if the object is a player and apply damage. At the same time, a broadcast to the player is done to play a screen shake effect. Else, local damageable, get object. If the object is not a player, then they attempt to find a damageable object and apply damage to it. In this case, those objects are limited to the floor tile at the moment. Connect impact event. You need to connect the on-impact function to the impact event. This event will fire each time the projectile has impacted an object. The projectile.impact event connect on impact. And the above line just after, add the above line just after when the projectile is spawned to the shoot projectile function. Okay, so in the shoot projectile function, add the above line just after when the projectile is spawned. On impact. Okay, so is charging true. Okay, if is charging true, local start position equals shoot position, get world position, events.broadcast to all players. If not, object is valid, then return local direction. Okay, little confused on that one. You need to connect the on impact function to the impact event. This event will fire each time the projectile has impacted an object. Add the above line just after when the projectile is spawned to the shoot projectile function. That is a shoot projectile function, but when is it spawned? Is charging equals true. Get world position. local direction, local to projectile dot spawn right here. So local to projectile equals projectile dot spawn, projectile start position direction. So we need that line right here. So the projectile dot impact event connect on impact. Okay. Test the game. Make sure the following work. The boss targets the player. The boss shoots a projectile. Projectile damages floor tiles. Projectile player can be killed by the projectile. Okay, well, here we go again. We'll open the AI debugger, hit play, go in here, it's targeting. Oh, we got an error. What was the error? Event log. Boss AI did probably where the event listener is nil. Yep. So I put this in the wrong place. I thought that was where it spawned. Local the projectile equals projectile dot spawn projectile. The projectile event. Yeah, maybe it goes at the bottom. It almost worked. It does not like where I'm putting that, so I'm putting it in the wrong place. Where does it say to put it? Connect impact event. Boss AI server. Use a cheat code, so shoot projectile. So what am I looking for? Okay, so between those. So after it does this, da 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 da, then it's the projectile dot impact event on impact. Okay. So right after these ones. Jeez, the code's getting long. No, what the heck? Ay, ay, ay. Well, it shot once, but it still doesn't like it. Come on. let's see. What is different? The projectile dot. Impact event, connect on impact. Event, connect on impact. Error running Lua task. Boss answer. Error connecting event listener. Event listener is nil. Why is the event listener nil? I got all these things backwards. It's like does it really matter where it's at? This one's supposed to be above it.
Aren't you ready to sleep, Mabel? You need to get up there? I'll push her down. Jump up there anyway. Make her get down. Come on, Mabel. Luna. Down so Mabel can get up there.
And that's the part that always confuses me. It's important where you put your functions because of how they're called. Wow. I got him.